UConn. Go Huskies.
UConn has earned a spot in the Final Four.
Wow, we're back in the Final Four. They belong here.
People still doubting us.
This improbable run will continue.
You gotta play with that sense of urgency.
Try to prove people wrong.
He's good. Napier on fire.
If you got that UConn jersey on, it means something.
Whatever you gotta do, the grit and grind.
Napier ahead to the five.
Let's go, UConn Nation. Let me hear you.
Oh, an impossible shot. What a play. Oh, he's made it. The elation goes to the University of Connecticut.
It is not hard to find where the road to the Final Four ends. AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. For a fifth time, the University of Connecticut is at the Final Four. And tonight, they take on #1 Florida for a spot in Monday's national championship game. It is great to have you with us here at the Final Four alongside former UConn Husky Donnie Marshall. I'm Eric Creed. We'll be joined by Swin Cash in just a couple of minutes. Huskies coming together at a perfect time as a team, but there is no question who their leader is right now, and that's Shabazz Napier.
And everyone who knows anything about UConn's program knows that he is the alpha and the omega. It begins with him, it ends with him in so many different ways. Obviously, you see his number there. He's played terrific in this tournament, but not just through basketball. Mentally, his character, he's been a great leader for Kevin Ollie's squad.
He has been outstanding, and Shabazz saying here in Arlington, he is ready. We know the team is ready. The question is, are you ready, UConn fans? Your Huskies are back in the Final Four. The opening tip is coming up next. Here as we take a look at the starting lineup for the Huskies, 30-8 on the season, winners of 4 in a row, all in the tournament. Philip Nolan, DeAndre Daniels, Niels Gaffey, Ryan Boatwright, Shabazz Napier, the 5 for the Huskies. We can watch that all day.
And as much as you can.
The screen from Young. Boatwright back on goal to the field side, and a rejection. DeAndre Daniels puts it away.
We talk about some of the weaknesses UConn has on the inside. Well, that's only on offense. Defensively, they have a guy right there in DeAndre.
Need to get going 0 for 5 against Michigan State, and the Huskies still won to 5. Daniels puts it on the floor, the drive and the finish. Foul was called on Casey Hill. Pressure in the backcourt. Gaffey gets it across. Napier. And UConn with the throwdown from Brima.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AT&T Stadium. Also here with our UConn alum. We have to get him in the telecast. We have Karan Butler, who I went to school with, and also Jeremy Lamb, playing currently with the Oklahoma City Thunder. But they came in town real quick. They're going to be back for tomorrow's game. Talk to us about what you see in the first half that's happening.
You see a great deal of defense, from, Florida. And, we just want to play our tempo, our style. And, hopefully Shabazz and Boatwright and those guys get to making shots and opening the floor.
Okay, on the offensive end, though, Jeremy, it seems to be a struggle. We don't seem to be able to get to the basket and get shots. What do you think they need to do better than this?
They just got to keep being aggressive. They're getting to the rim. They playing hard. They blocking out shots a couple times, but they're getting what they want. They just keep playing. They'll be all right.
The one thing that I noticed, guys, is that now UConn mentality is always about the defense, and it seems that intensity isn't there. Do you think they need to take it up another notch?
Yeah, definitely. It'll come. We got the right guy on the sideline in Kevin Ollie, and, that's our disposition night in and night out, hang our hat on defense and knocking down shots in our guard play.
Well, you guys keep rocking with us. Of course, we bleed blue, and in Ollie, we trust.
On Florida. Come Walker into the game for the Gators. Florida 36-2 on the season. Huskies haven't scored in 5.5 minutes, and Daniels ends the drought.
Open it up for him again. You make Florida pay when they... And watch this. Napier draws a few. Daniels wide open. One of the few important for UConn to, yes, beat the defense with the pass, but you have two just phenomenal ball handlers, and they can get by guys.
Boatwright open look, knocks down a 3.
And maybe that's what's going to loosen up that defense a little bit, Frito. You got to come out.
The Huskies, you can tell, they picked it up a little bit. Young will try it outside. No good. Samuel with the rebound. Samuel wants to take it right at Patrick Young. At the big man in the finish for two.
Aggressive. When you
Boatwright really picking it up on Wilbekin. Wilbekin shot off the mark, and here come the Huskies on an 8-0 run. Boatwright the kick, Daniels the three. Got it! Timeout, Florida.
I had to think for a minute. No, you know what? The one thing is that whenever you play in games like this on this huge stage, you really just have to have a lot of poise. And I think right now Shabazz has been pressing a little bit.
Cadet will try from outside. He misses the three. That's not his game. 4 of 20 from outside the three-point line this season. So UConn with a chance to tie or go in front with the three.
And that's what UConn wants. They want to have a non-shooter in a position to make plays.
Good fight by Daniels. Tournament, his numbers have been up. Boatwright for Napier. Off to Gafai. And a reset with Shabazz. Shabazz will shoot this time, and a beautiful finish by Shabazz Napier. He has 5. Great tournament, the Florida Gators. Less than 2 to play here in the first half.
How about the patience and the poise that UConn has shown in this first half? Not forcing anything. A couple shots blocked. Calls not going their way. They stayed with it in this game.
Oh, Daniels. Look at that beautiful play by DeAndre Daniels.
That's why we're sitting over here and they're officiating the game.
That changes everything, because with 2, maybe you can throw it up around half court. Turn, but let's not let that take away from anything here for UConn in the first half, because the Huskies battled back. You see how good they've been when leading at halftime this season. They were down 7-0 to start the game. They were down 16-4, but they come back, and UConn with a lead here at halftime, 25-22 over Florida. What a turnaround for the Huskies as they try to get to Monday's championship game. 25-22 our score. And Swin Cash is standing by with UConn Associate Head Coach Glenn Miller. Swin.
Hey, Coach. Thanks, Eric. Coach, early on, you guys started off slow. The intensity picked up. You saw Daniels on an excellent job. What do you need to do to get Shabazz into the flow of the game?
Well, we have to open up those elbows so we can drive middle. They did a great job guarding them off the pick and roll, blitzing them. So if we can open up those elbows and create some more driving space, even for Ryan Boatwright. And the other thing is we got to get that flat ball screen out high. We scored a few times and the floor opened up a little bit when we did that.
All right, love the intensity, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Swin, thank you very much. We appreciate the time from Glenn Miller, one of those Husky alums on the coaching staff for Kevin Ollie. Well, we got to admit, wasn't looking great at the beginning, but it looks a whole lot better now at the half. UConn on top of Florida by 3 here in North Texas.
Just to see a brotherhood, just to see guys stand together and running out there as a collective group with one mind, one heart, one soul. And that's what we believe at the University of Connecticut. It's a family. And good times, bad times, we're going to stick together. And I think these kids, these players, these student athletes epitomizes toughness and togetherness.
Thoughts from UConn head coach Kevin Ollie back here with his former teammate, 4-year teammate at the University of Connecticut. Is he the same guy now as he was as your teammate back in Stores?
I think now he's come out of his shell finally. As teammates, you know, I was the one that played with more of the chip on my shoulder, always trying to prove a little bit that I might have been a little more than I really was. Kevin was always even keel. I love to see his emotion now as a head coach, though. Players really feel that. I love to see it. You just feel his passion when you're watching him, but so don't those players when they're on the bench.
I think we saw it during that first half because UConn was flat. They were making mistakes, turning the ball over. They fell behind 7-0. Ollie picked up his intensity a little bit. The players responded on the court. They were able to get things going a little bit. We'll break it down a little bit with a little virtual madness right here to show you how UConn got back into this game.
It's interesting. I just talked to Jim Calhoun just at half, and he said, you know what, we got to speed the game up a little bit, and this is how you speed it up. You see Boatwright, terrific ball handler, And I just have to say, this is one of the best angles because you see them all from all over. Boatwright getting into the paint. It makes the defense turn their head for a split second. That's all DeAndre Daniels needs. And also Jim Calhoun said, if this turns into a jump shooting game, we don't have anything to worry about. I hope he's right.
Well, he's seen a game or two in his day, and he's coached at a pretty high level. 2 of 9 start for UConn from the field in the first half, 8 of 12 from that point forward. So they've turned it around here after that sluggish start against Florida.
We're talking a lot of offense here, but they're holding Florida to 35% from the field. So as much as it took them to get going, it also slowed Florida down. So you have to understand what Kevin says. Get back in transition. He's going to use up all of his fouls and every last foul on that bench if he has to. But defensively, I thought UConn did a tremendous job in the first half.
Any other little nuggets from Coach Calhoun before we go to break?
I'll save them for the second half. That's what you call a tease,
I believe that's a really
People
good
on
tease.
TV, we call it a tease.
25-22 more from AT&T Stadium after this timeout.
AT&T at the half is presented by AT&T. Rethink possible.
Hey, Eric, here with Richard Hamilton, Rip, as we like to call him. What you see in the first half, Rip?
Well, we came out the way that we wanted to come out. We wanted to get a lead going into the second half. We up by 3. We're doing a great job rebounding the ball. The bigs is taking care of the paint, and Shabazz is doing what he usually do. So hopefully we can come out the first couple minutes of the second half and get a win.
Well, you know what? I remember our days back at UConn and those battles between you and Kevin Freeman, one of the assistant coaches right now, the intensity you guys used to have. What does it mean, the legacy of UConn basketball, that so many players come back and always participate in whether it's preseason or postseason workouts trying to help the younger players?
Well, it was great. First when we was there, we were both #1 teams in the country at the same time. So that was exciting. And now to see Kev being assistant coach and the great job that he's doing to helping Kevin Ollie, and just seeing the whole staff, guys that been with the family, won national championship, and we kept everything in-house. That's the thing that I love, and the development of the kids, man. It's kind of like one of them things when you see the kids grow, you see Shabazz grow, and things like that. It's a great feeling.
All right, now let's keep it 100. 132 at UConn, so another 32 at UConn. Yeah. I've been getting questions on my Twitter feed. Are you coming back next year to the NBA? What's it look like? People want to know, you retired, you coming back?
Yeah, I'll be back. Yeah, definitely. I ain't finished yet. Like I said, I still got a lot of basketball in me. I'm still excited about the game, and I just can't wait to get back on the floor.
Love it. It'll be good to see you next year back in the NBA. Back to you over there, Eric and Donnie.
Swin, thanks very much, and we thank Rip for his time. And here's a little who's who UConn hoop alumni as we take you back through the years. We already heard from Rip Hamilton, we heard from Caron Butler, and when you look at, we heard from Jeremy Lamb today too, and we heard from Andre Drummond via Twitter, but one guy we talked about before, Kemba Walker, and a lot of people are kind of drawing comparisons between what Kemba Walker was able to do leading UConn to a national championship in 2011, what Shabazz Napier has done this year. What similarities do you see in their games?
Well, the leadership part of it, when Kemba was on the floor, he made guys like Shabazz Napier better. Remember, Shabazz Napier averaged 8 points a game in that title run in 2011. So he wasn't just a guy on the floor. He was a guy that Kemba really relied on. And you know what? Napier's doing the same thing with DeAndre Daniels, Ryan Boatwright. He's relying on them. He's putting trust in those guys. He's lifting them up. He's building them up and telling them, we're not going to do this unless we do it together. And I think those are, to me, are the main similarities, that leadership role.
Well, when Shabazz was asked this week about the game plan for taking on Florida and handling all the hype and everything around the Final Four, he got right to the point. It all comes down to having fun.
At the end of the day, it's a basketball game to me, and it's nothing more than that. I don't want to put no pressure on myself. Just want to go out there and have fun. The game of basketball is to have fun, and that's what I'm going to try to do.
Well, when you're playing the 142nd game of your UConn career, adding to his UConn record, you learn how to relax and you learn just to find a way to get into that zone. Florida took him out of his game in the early going, but in the first half, Shabazz ended up with 5 points. Sometimes it's hard to have fun, though, when you got 80,000 people looking at you in the bright lights and you're playing in a football stadium and there's a lot of things spinning around your head, but trying to get it to go slowly is what Shabazz is trying to do.
Well, he is that calming effect for Kevin Ollie on the floor because at any point he can get you a bucket in so many different ways. It's nice to have that luxury, but I tell you what, it's more fun winning than losing, that's for sure.
You see the resume for Shabazz Napier, first team All-American, Player of the Year, Indy American, finalist for the Wooden and Cousy Awards, and you see his numbers in the NCAA tournament, 23 points a game, 25 of 27 from the free throw line. It's closing time as we get into the second half, and Kevin Ollie calls Shabazz the best closer in the country. Start of the second half, Gafai on the offensive glass, fell into his hands, right place, right time. Young leans in, can't get it to go, rebound, Daniels. Shabazz on the pull-up, got it. 7 points for Shabazz Napier. Hill, Boatwright knocked it away from him. Into the hands of Daniels, and Boatwright with the finish.
Kevin Ollie likes the bucket, but he's to help his team and to get him opened up. So you stop thinking about it.
Basket, the
defensive set right here. DeAndre Daniels avoids the foul, but even look at that.
Block party with 80,000 people in attendance. Daniels. Brima returns it to Daniels.
How about that? The freshman jump into a guy here. This is a very, very smart play. Double team comes. I don't know why Florida is double teaming the freshman.
Shabazz Napier goes to the bench, get a little rest here for UConn. And as Terrence Samuel comes in,
this is the benefit you get when you have a guy like Boatwright. You can get some rest for Napier.
Boatwright!
Foul on UConn, and right here, Boatwright, Florida Gators saying, forget it, we're not fouling. We'll let you score, but we're not fouling. And look at Napier getting a little rest over there. He is fired.
But you can't. There's certain things you can control, but the fouls you cannot control. You have to learn how to play with them and without them.
Boatwright for the pull-up, rattles it in for 2 more. Ryan Boatwright, the junior.
They're trying to do slow UConn down a little bit. They're extending it. That means the middle will be open if they can get someone to drive it.
And they find Daniels here to attack the zone. They go over the top, and Daniels with the finish. 11 shooting, 14 points, 8 rebounds. UConn basketball out of the timeout. Looking inside for Daniels. Samuel on the drive to the basket. How about that from the freshman? Florida gets it back. No reset on the shot clock. Down to 7. Wilbekin. Napier picks his pocket, flips it up to Boatwright, and Boatwright will finish for UConn. Timeout, Florida. Another big defensive play from the Huskies, and they're up by 6 points. UConn lead. The feed to Daniels. Rebound tracked down by Shabazz Napier. Napier will just dribble through traffic and set things up for UConn. Looks for the lob again. Daniels with the catch. Can he reset? He can, and score. 18.
Important for UConn right now to not play the clock. Stay aggressive.
Gafai. Is that aggressive enough for you?
Love it. Ahead. Decided to take some time. That's senior leadership.
Here's Daniels. Daniels has been huge, and he comes through again. 20 points for DeAndre Daniels. It's into the hands of Young. Young let it go. Space and was able to finish. But Gafai back the other way to throw it down. Donnie Marshall.
Stick a fork in.
This game is over.
The Gators.
This game is over.
Stick a fork in it.
Believe me when I tell you, no one around here gave Kevin Ollie's team any shot. But the UConn Huskies are back where they belong. They will play in the national championship game on Monday night.
All I can say is, what an amazing job Kevin Ollie and his staff have done this entire season. The last 2 years to get to this point says a lot about the character, again, the belief, the trust that this team has in each other and its coaching staff. And what a wonderful, wonderful situation right now for UConn and its fans.
The last team to beat Florida before tonight, Connecticut. The Huskies do it again. The University of Connecticut will play in the championship game Monday night after a 63-53 victory over the Florida Gators. Wow.
What an amazing game. They stuck with it early, slow start, got it done with their defense.
And Donnie, just to follow up on that point, it really is kind of a microcosm of what Kevin Ollie has done with this team. As you just touched on, in this game, they fell behind 7-0. They're down 16-4. You could sense nerves. You could sense it being an anxious time, but I don't think you could ever sense any panic for the UConn Huskies. I don't think Kevin Ollie would allow it.
Early game jitters, I think you get that from a lot of teams. They stayed with it. You have a tremendous staff. You have belief again in one another. And this is what happens. You fight your way out of it. It's exactly what UConn did.
The players celebrating. Ryan Boatwright heading towards the fans. Big hug for his family right now. There's a lot of celebrating, and you look at some faces. It's a business trip face on some of the guys here.
Well, you know, talking to Kevin Ollie when he was in Madison Square Garden last week, and he said, I brought 2 suits. And he wouldn't tell me if he brought 2 suits this weekend because he didn't want to jinx it, but something tells me that he's got a fresh one for the national championship game waiting in the room.
They won 3 titles while that man was head coach, Jim Calhoun. Now they'll have a chance to play for another national championship Monday night. It says so much about how Kevin Ollie has put his fingerprints all over this University of Connecticut program, taking over for Jim Calhoun, how much of a challenge it was last year to get guys to stick around and then get to 20 wins. And now it has paid off here with a victory in the Final Four. And here is Swin Cash standing by with one of the winners, Niels Giffey. Swin.
Hey, yes, it's exciting time, Giffey. You're so excited. I see it in your face. When you got here, you said that this was unreal. How does it feel now, 1 game away from winning a national championship?
Same feeling, same exact feeling. You know, the only people who believe that we could be here is this team right here, and it's just so sweet to get a chance to to play for the national title on Monday, and just be back in this position.
Good luck to you, and back over to you, Eric and Donnie.
Yeah, Swin, you got a lot of fans and friends around you right now as the UConn Huskies are going to the title game on Monday night.